So today we're going to dive into Bittensor. It's this really fascinating new ecosystem where AI is being built in a completely different way. See, this isn't about one giant company building one giant model. It's about using a single, powerful idea to launch countless creative and specialized applications.
First, we're going to unpack the big idea behind Bittensor itself. Then, to really see how this thing works, we're going to look at 3 wildly different case studies. One in drug discovery, another in the creator economy, and a third that's all about computer vision. And finally, we'll try it all together to see what this could mean for the future of AI.
All right, so let's get right into it. What exactly is this marketplace for intelligence? What's the secret sauce here that makes it such a new way to think about building AI?
Well, the whole idea behind Bittensor really starts with this one powerful question. Instead of AI being built in some closed-off lab by a handful of people, what if you could create a system where anyone, anywhere, could contribute to building intelligence and get rewarded for it?
And that's the core engine right there. You can think of Bittensor as a global marketplace for producing intelligence. It uses crypto incentives to get people and even other AIs to throw their skills and their computer power at solving specific problems on the network.
And here's how it actually works. You've got 3 main players. First, someone called a subnet owner sets up a challenge, like, hey, find me a new molecule. Then you have the miners, people from all over the globe who compete to come up with the best solution. And finally, you have validators, who are like the judges. They score all the answers and decide who wins.
Yeah, and this whole setup creates this incredible energy. It's like a hackathon that never ever sleeps. It's just this constant 24/7 global competition where the best ideas are always rising to the top for pretty much any problem you can think of.
Okay, so let's get into our first real-world example. And you can start to see how this builds into something with, honestly, world-changing potential. We're talking about a project called Metanova, and they're using Bittensor to completely rethink how we find new medicines.
Now, to really get why this matters, you have to understand the problem Metanova is tackling. It's huge. It costs, on average, $2.6 billion to bring a new drug to market. It's incredibly expensive, it's slow, and it's just begging for a new approach.
So here's what Metanova does. They set a target, say finding a molecule for a specific disease. Then the miners all compete. But here's the cool part. They're not just submitting molecules, they're creating better algorithms to search for molecules. This massively de-risks that crucial first step in finding a new drug.
And get this is what's so wild. The miners are basically just in it to earn rewards. So they're unruly. They don't have the same biases as traditional scientists. They are constantly trying to find loopholes and game the system. And in doing that, they actually end up stress testing the AI models and exposing all their weaknesses. It's a feature, not a bug.
All right, now for a complete change of pace. Let's jump over and see how these exact same principles can apply to the world of YouTube creators and brand marketing. This project is called Bitcast.
So you know the creator economy, right? Well, it's got this big problem. It's basically a power law. All the brand deals, like 80% of them, go to the top 1% of creators, just because it's such an administrative nightmare to work with anyone else. That leaves the other 99% of creators out in the cold.
So Bitcast just flips this whole thing on its head. In this world, the YouTubers are the miners. A brand puts out a brief, creators make videos, and then an AI automatically checks if the video meets the brief. And the best part? Creators get paid based on a super simple, fair metric, total watch time. It's all about real engagement.
And the upshot of all this? By getting rid of all that boring administrative work, Bitcast lets brands tap into what's called the long tail of creators. It opens the doors for that other 99%, giving them a real shot to work with brands and monetize their passion.
All right, for our last example, we're diving into some really cutting-edge stuff with a project called Score. Their focus is on solving one of the biggest bottlenecks in computer vision.
You see, the biggest problem with giving AI eyes is that the very best models are just enormous. They're incredibly powerful, but they're way too expensive and complicated for most businesses to actually put into a real product.
So Score's solution is this really clever process they call distillation. Basically, the miners on their network compete to take these huge, general-purpose vision models and shrink them down into tiny, super-efficient little expert models. And look at this difference. It's absolutely staggering. We're talking going from gigabytes down to just megabytes. And this, right here, is a total game changer. All of a sudden, you don't need a super expensive, power-hungry GPU to run these advanced vision AIs. You can run them on a simple CPU. And that just unlocks a ton of new applications that were never profitable before.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and connect the dots. What do these three totally different examples really tell us about where all of this is going?
I mean, just think about what we've looked at. We saw the same core framework being used to find new medicines, to empower YouTube creators, and to make computer vision practical. Three completely different worlds, all being powered by the exact same underlying idea of a marketplace for intelligence.
And that really points to a fundamental shift. Right now, a few giant companies are building these massive, do-everything AIs. Bittensor is proposing something radically different. It's not about creating one AI to rule them all. No, it's a system that lets us create thousands of small, specialized, and incredibly efficient expert AIs, where each one is perfectly built to solve one specific problem really, really well.
And that really leaves us with this final kind of mind-blowing question. If you have a system that can build a specialized intelligence for almost any challenge you can imagine, the possibilities are just endless. The only question left is, what are we going to solve next?